Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Peter K here, your finance PT. Now today I'm going to be sharing with you 7 bad finance habits that may be messing with your credit. Now most of us are trying to build our credit, are trying to get ourselves in the best position possibly financially. And this also includes having good credit. When you don't have good credit, it's very difficult to get good deals on a lot of things, even something as simple as a phone contract. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys 7 bad finance habits. Now, if you find that you have any of these habits, it's time to change them and get yourself together. Okay, now the first one, which almost seems common sense because it is, you'd expect us to pay our bills on time. Yes, that's the first one. If you're someone that frequently pays your bills late, this will affect your credit in a negative way because it almost seems as if maybe you're struggling financially, or perhaps you're not someone that is very responsible when it comes to managing your money. So it's very, very important to prioritize paying your bills on time. If you don't have direct debit set up for your bills and you have to call your suppliers in order to make payments, then it's important for you to set yourself reminders so that you don't forget to call up and pay them. Because the worst thing you can do, it happens, we have so many things going on in our lives, it's very easy for us to forget. Sometimes we even forget to call our friends back, let alone calling a supplier to pay a bill. So make sure, if this is your case, you set yourself a reminder. If you need to set more than one, set yourself more than one so that you do not forget to pay your bills on time, okay? Very, very important. Paying your bills late is a big no-no, okay? So the next one as well is regularly going beyond your unauthorized overdraft. Now, if you have an overdraft with your bank, this would be an agreed amount that you are able to go into. Let's say you finish all your money, whatever the case may be. So let's say maybe your overdraft is £100, £200, £300, whatever the case is. Now, the problem is when you frequently go beyond your unauthorized overdraft limit, this can affect your credit in a negative way, especially when it takes you a very long time to go back into the positive side of things. So it's very important to really keep track of your account just to ensure that you're not falling into your unauthorized overdraft on a consistent basis, because that can actually affect your credit in a negative way. Next one, missed payments. Okay, I know this sometimes happens because, maybe you're having a problem with your supplier and then you think, oh, do you know what, I'm not gonna pay them. I've had so many of my friends say this to me and I'm like, girl, you better just pay it. Okay, pay it and dispute it later on, because the problem is when you don't pay it, you have frequent missed payments. This is being recorded on your credit report, and unless you then go through the hassle of getting that removed, it's gonna be there. And things like that stays for up to 6 years. So the problem is, if you are having a problem with your supplier, call, speak to them, dispute it later on, but make sure you're not missing payments throughout that time. Because you may be like, oh, but I'm not happy with the service, I'm not going to pay them. But if that is then being fed back to your credit report, it's going to affect you negatively. So not only have you been unhappy with the service, but that supplier is actually affecting your credit in a negative way. So missed payments, again, is another no-no. If you have that bad habit of missing payments, you're missing payments to pay something else, or because you want to do something else with your money, pay your bills. Whatever your financial commitments are with these suppliers, make sure that you are faithful in paying them. My voice is a bit croaky today. I'm not quite sure why, but I'm still going to push through this video. Next one. Now, if you have a loan or some sort of credit or finance agreement, let's say maybe you have a car on finance, or you have some kind of loan that you've taken out, defaulting on your loan, again, that is something else that can affect your credit in a negative way. If you're the kind of person that you frequently do not pay things on time, you do not uphold your credit agreements, this is something, again, that can affect your credit in a negative way. I know sometimes things happen, perhaps you have other responsibilities that come up and you have to decide, what am I going to pay? The way I see it is anything that's going to affect my credit is a priority, and I'm going to ensure I'm going to pay that thing. So if maybe you are struggling financially, perhaps, you've got lots of bills, lots of expenses, maybe try looking at ways that you can reduce your expenses. So start looking at the things that aren't really priority that you can actually cancel or put on pause. A lot of things right now you can pause. A lot of subscriptions right now give you that freedom to be able to pause things as opposed to actually canceling. So definitely look into what can I reduce, what can I cancel in order to ensure that I can actually afford to pay the bills that I have. Because a lot of people have a lot of bills, but they don't have enough money to actually pay for everything. So it's very, very important, if you are struggling, to actually communicate that as well. If your circumstances has changed, let's say you've been made redundant, you're on furlough, you're struggling financially for whatever reason, communicate that with your supplier. Don't just ignore letters, ignore phone calls because you don't want to have to deal with it. Deal with it. That's the best way to go forward. Now, the next thing, I don't even know why I'm so hot, guys. I think I'm just so passionate. Next thing is having a high credit utilization. Now, a high credit utilization is essentially when you have a credit limit and you're always using a lot of that amount. So it's really important for you to try and keep your credit utilization low. So things like your overdraft, things like your credit card, keeping store cards, all of those good stuff. Anything that's not your money that you use, keep your credit utilization low. Let's say, for example, you have a credit card limit of £1,000. You don't want to be using £800, £900 every single month. That is a very high credit utilization. And something to keep in mind is that your credit utilization is not just measured on one form of your credit, but all of them overall as well. So making sure you're keeping it low. Now, there isn't a specific amount that you should keep it to. A lot of people say 20, some people say 20%, but I would say try and keep it to 30% or less. You don't want to be having 70% credit utilization, 80%, 90%, 100%. Because it just makes you seem very high risk. And again, it seems like this person, is relying a lot on credit. So you want to ensure you're keeping your credit utilization low. Ensure you are monitoring it. You're not just spending and thinking, oh, I'm going to pay it back later. Because a lot of the times things happen and your situation changes and then it's difficult for you to actually pay things back. So you don't want to get yourself into that position. Next thing, not sticking to a credit agreement. Whether it's you not paying the agreed amount, maybe you're paying, but you're not paying the amount you agreed. So let's say, for example, you have a credit agreement on something and you're supposed to pay back £200 every month, but sometimes you're paying back £10, $20, $50. You're just paying whatever you feel like paying. And in your mind, it's like, yeah, well, I'm paying. No, that is not good enough. If you have a credit agreement, do your best to actually stick to it. And like I said, if your situation does change, communicate that with your supplier. Don't just assume that they will understand, they'll just be happy with any payment. Stick to your credit agreement. Again, this does affect your credit in a negative way. And then another thing as well, which a lot of people do, especially when you are struggling financially, when you need some quick money, some quick cash, is applying for lots of credit in a short period of time. A short period of time could be a month, let's say even 3 months. So you want to make sure that if you're, let's say you are applying for a credit card or you have more than one account with a different bank and you're trying to apply for an overdraft, if one rejects you, that's probably an indication that you might just need to slow down, give it a couple of months, build your credit back up before trying to apply for another one. Because sometimes you go through this snowball cycle. One supplier has rejected you and then you're then going to different institutions trying to get credit. It's actually just going to affect your credit in a negative way. And a lot of the time they can actually see these rejections that you've had as well. So do avoid applying for lots of credit in a short period of time. Because if you think about it from a supplier point of view, it seems like this person's high risk. It's almost like they must be struggling financially if they're applying for all of these credit cards, all of these overdrafts from multiple companies in such a short period of time. So you want to ensure that if you are applying for credit for whatever the reason may be, do not apply to lots of different places in a short period of time, especially if you've been rejected by multiple places. That's probably an indication that you need to pause and recoup and try again another time. So these were just some of the habits that really do affect a lot of people, and it really does mess up your credit. And it's so funny because a lot of these things are so common sense. It seems to be common sense. And these are things that a lot of people do very frequently, not realizing that it is damaging their credit. So like I said, if there's any of these bad habits that you currently have, now is the time. This is your reminder. This is your reminder to get yourself together. It's time to be responsible. We're about to go into a new year very, very soon. 2021 is just peering at us from the corner. And if you do have bad credit, just flipping these habits on the head. So if, let's say, for example, you pay your bills late frequently, now start paying your bills on time. And with time, you're going to see that naturally your credit is going to start to build. It's actually going to start to improve. So definitely look through your habits. Look at the things you've been doing negatively. There are so many other things I could mention, but I just wanted to summarize the key 7 that I could think of immediately. So I really hope you guys found this video useful. One thing that I would say is that if you do want to get serious in your finances, if you need a bit of help in this department, if you've got bad credit and you just have a few questions you want to ask, feel free to email me, or you can send me a DM on Instagram, or you can just contact me via my website. All of my details, all of the ways to contact me will be in the description box. Now, if you could relate to this video or you found this helpful, do let me know in the comment. And if you enjoyed, make sure that you share this video. If you're not subscribed to my channel, then you already know what to do. Subscribe so you can keep up with all my latest videos. Now, if there's any particular topics that you do want me to cover relating to finance, business, or personal development, do let me know as well in the comments so that I can actually put out content that you guys actually want to see. It's one thing for me to be posting things I'm interested in, but I want to ensure that what I'm posting is things that you guys actually want to see and you're going to find it helpful. So have a great day, guys. I'm going to be back with you guys next week, Wednesday, with another video helping you to get your finances in order and chase your dreams. So have a great day and I'll be back with you guys soon.